And Village Church, just by way of sharing an update with you as we continue through this historical moment, I just want to remind us of who God is. God is our sovereign Redeemer. And if God's our sovereign Redeemer, do you know what that means? It means he is in control. He's not pacing heaven. He's not anxious. God never has a sleepless night where he's turning and tossing. God is never concerned. He's always in perfect control. And if that is true, that gives us as Christians the ability to be patient, peaceful, kind, understanding, compassionate to those inside the church and those outside the church. And also what that does, it produces us in a heart not to try to navigate through this season out of a desire to either go fast or to go slow, but it produces a heart in us to be wise, to think through what is the wisest decision for this historical moment that we find ourselves in. And we remember that because he's our sovereign Redeemer. But God is not only sovereign, he's also Redeemer. And what that means is God is constantly in the business of recycling what is bad and making something good. He's constantly taking what is broken and fixing it. What Satan meant for evil, God turns around for good. All things work together for good in the sense that all things bring about an opportunity to conform us into the image of Christ. And we need to remember this truth in this coronavirus season because everything has been disrupted, yet we have a gospel opportunity. And God often uses disruptive times in and through them to do his work. Here's a list throughout history. Acts chapter 8, verse 1, a persecution scatters the church, yet the church grows, the gospel advances. We see all throughout history, in the mid-250s AD, there was a persecution and plague that hit Carthage. Christians ran toward the problem, not away from it, and the gospel grew. We see in the 1950s, Christian missionaries were kicked out of China. And when the world thought, how is the gospel going to advance in the country of China? We see, even though all the missionaries were kicked out, over the course of only a few decades, the number of Christians went from under 1 million to over 70 million and is still projected to climb. Christianity is exploding in the global south and in Asia. We see also in the Middle Eastern world, a world that is being turned upside down by war and refugees and displacement of people, yet at the same time, listen to this, there have been more Muslims coming to Christ in the past 15 years than the past 15 centuries combined. After 9/11, churches all throughout our nation, especially in New York, saw a surge of growth. Why? Because when you couple great need with a great Savior, you find growth. And Village Church is no surprise that in this coronavirus season, we find people who are anxious, troubled, concerned, fearful. And we have what they need. We have the gospel. And that's why we think it's so important at this moment in our history of our nation, in this moment in the history of our church, that we lean into what we are calling the Village Church gatherings. This is groups of 10 people or less who are coming together all throughout the week to worship God together, to share life together in discipleship, and to love our neighbors together. In Village Church, I want you to do two things. I want you first and foremost to pray. I need you to pray and ask God, to what extent can I be a part of the work that you are doing in this world? Pray about if you can be a facilitator, excellent. If you can be a participant, excellent. If you can be a champion of this season and this ministry initiative, excellent. Please do, as we seek to advance the gospel in and through the ministry of Village Church. And then I need you to do another thing. I need you to go to the website, check out what are the Village Church gatherings, read more information. And if you're ready to jump in, check out the form that will be available this Sunday to sign up, to plug in, to get engaged, to be a part of what God is doing, because this is a wave that I want us to catch. And I think we truly can be one church scattered together. And I think we could do it well in such a way that the gospel advances through this season. And I think we could do it through the Village Church gatherings. Won't you pray about it? Consider it. read more information about it, and may we all see how God moves over the weeks and months to come.